should let it off my chest. Verbatim, devastating, it's the new breed. With the new seeds, organic, never panic. Future shock, romantic. Hit a rock non-stop, must cop when I drop. It's beyond hot, flavor like Flav. Bless the weed spot and move to the next plateau. We at the front door, is that so? Hell yeah! All factual, it's natural, actual, highly satisfactual. To rip through the manual, to me it's understandable. To set new trends, elevate with old friends. Bring heat to the table, penetrate cold winds. And get my mind right when I exit the limelight. Keep my rhymes tight, stay focused when I sacrifice. Let your body shake. Slinger with a finger to those who oppose the raw essence of my flows. Mad energy at shows. Gotta pack the doors. Have to keep the people coming. Make sure everybody knows there's a new sheriff in town.
Hi, and welcome to 2K Sports Studios. I'm Greg Gumbel with Clark Kellogg. We're here with the 2K Sports NCAA Selection Show. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet and get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. Before we get into the brackets for the upcoming tournament, let's take a look at the final top 25 media poll. There's certainly one big shift that we'll be talking about. A new team has made the top 25 this week. The California Golden Bears are back in the poll as the number 22 team. The poll voters have had their say in the national ranking since November. The time has come to hand over the reins to the selection committee. It's time to talk about the topic that has a lot of players and coaches holding their breath right now, the NCAA tournament bubble. These are the 10 teams that aren't worried as much about where they'll be playing as if they'll be playing. Clark, who jumps out at you there?
Virginia has been up and down this year, and it's a matter of which part of their schedule the committee wants to look at, the up part or the down part.
And we have a few more teams in similar position, right, Clark?
Ohio State put together a solid season, but their record just isn't impressive enough to make them a no-brainer bid. If the committee doesn't give weight to their tough conference, they could be out of luck.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The Kansas Jayhawks are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Regional. They begin the tournament as the dominant team in college basketball. They've been ranked number 1 in the media poll for the past 7 weeks. We'll soon find out if they can live up to their billing. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the South Regional. The Tennessee Volunteers are seeking their first ever NCAA championship. The Memphis Tigers are our third number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Midwest Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our fourth number 1 seed will play in the West Regional. The Xavier Musketeers are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the first time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the West Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 5th. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April 7th. Any surprises in there for you, Clark?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, it's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the bracket. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The Kansas Jayhawks are the top seed, finishing at 29-3. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Big 12. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Army with 11 wins and now the number 8 seed, the Villanova Wildcats, come into the tournament as the 9th place team in their conference during the regular season and finish 2nd in their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Arizona Wildcats, who were 6th in their conference, finishing at 16-15. Arkansas comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 24-8. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Atlantic Sun Conference, the East Tennessee State Buccaneers, with 21 wins. Auburn enters the field as the number 4 seed from the SEC. This is their 9th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, finished the season with 20 wins.
The Auburn Tigers could be a great pick in this competition. There are a lot of things I like about this team. They don't back down from anybody, and they've shown that throughout the year with some real quality wins. You've got to be tough if you're going to have a chance in the NCAA tournament, physically and mentally, and there's no question these guys are tough.
The Santa Clara Broncos are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, with 16 wins. Duke comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 22-9. Coastal Carolina comes in to face them at number 14 with 16 wins in the tournament championship of the Big South. Our number 7 seed is from the ACC. The Florida State Seminoles were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Virginia Cavaliers, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 19-12. Next up is the number 2 seed. The Georgetown Hoyas are the regular season champions from the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the Ohio Bobcats, with 17 wins. This is their 12th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. There are going to be some incredible matchups in the later rounds of this bracket if the top seeds can avoid the early upsets. We can look forward to some real heavyweight battles. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The Tennessee Volunteers are the top seed, finishing at 29-4. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the SEC. They'll take on the UC Davis Aggies, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Georgia Tech comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 19-12. DePaul comes in to face them at number 9 with 19 wins and a chance to make believers out of any doubters they might have. Providence enters the field as the number 5 seed from the Big East. This marks their 16th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Yale Bulldogs, finished the season with 18 wins.
The Providence Friars are a team that is just so powerful and strong up front. I would put their front court up against just about any other teams in the nation right now. It's always good to have strong guard play, but if you ask most coaches, I guarantee you they take the good big man over the good little man most times. Their interior play should serve them very well in this competition.
Kansas State comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 22-9. And they'll take on the 13th seed from the Ohio Valley Conference, the Tennessee State Tigers, with 21 wins. And now the number 6 seed, the USC Trojans, come into the tournament 10th in their conference during the regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Indiana Hoosiers, who were 3rd in their conference, finishing at 19-12. The Stanford Cardinals are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin, with 18 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Rhode Island Rams have established themselves as one of the best teams from the A-10 Conference. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Ohio State Buckeyes, with 21 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. Our number 2 seed is from the ACC. The North Carolina Tar Heels are on a hot streak, having just won their conference tournament championship. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 17-12. It's the first question every selection Sunday. Which is the toughest bracket? Well, this bracket looks to me like it wins that prize this year. Not only are the top seeds strong, the lower seeds can be dangerous as well. On to our 3rd bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Midwest Regional. The Memphis Tigers are the top seed, finishing at 28-6. They were conference tournament champions in Conference USA. They'll take on the Albany Great Danes, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 3rd appearance in the NCAA NCAA tournament in school history. Our number 8 seed is from the Missouri Valley Conference. The Southern Illinois Salukis come into the NCAA tournament as winners of their regular season and conference tournament championship. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Georgia Bulldogs, who were 5th in their conference, finishing at 19-10. The Washington State Cougars are in as the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the Maryland Terrapins, with 21 wins. Louisville enters the field as the number 4 seed from the Big East. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Nevada Wolfpack, finished the season with 17 wins.
The Louisville Cardinals have more to prove than any other team in this tournament. They haven't had a lot of experience in the tournament recently, so it's difficult to say exactly how they'll handle it. They've shown they're capable of playing with the best teams in the nation during the regular season. Now they need to show they belong with those teams come tournament time.
Connecticut comes in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 21-11. And they take on the 11th seed from Conference USA, the Houston Cougars, with 23 wins. And now the number 3 seed, the Pittsburgh Panthers, come into the tournament after finishing 2nd in their conference during the regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the Loyola College Greyhounds, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-13. Next up is the number 7 seed, the George Washington Colonials, have established themselves as one of the best teams from the A-10 conference. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Michigan Wolverines, with 20 wins. This marks their 16th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Florida comes in as the number 2 seed, finishing at 23-4. Northern Colorado comes in to face them at number 15 with 17 wins in the tournament championship of the Big Sky. I think this could wind up being the bracket that brings us this year's Cinderella story. A few of the higher seeds here have had terrific seasons, and I'll be surprised if at least one of them doesn't put together a long run in this tournament. And finally, let's have a look at the West Regional. The Xavier Musketeers are the top seed, finishing at 27-7. They were conference tournament champions in the A-10. They'll take on the Texas Southern Tigers, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Next up is the number 8 seed. The Alabama Birmingham Blazers are the regular season champions from Conference USA. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the LSU Tigers, with 21 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. UCLA comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 20-12. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Horizon League, the Butler Bulldogs, with 22 wins. St. Louis comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 23-8. Robert Morris comes in to face them at number 13 with 20 wins in the tournament championship of the Northeast Conference. Our number 6 seed is from the Pac-10. The California Golden Bears were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Utah Utes, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-12. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the George Mason Patriots, with 18 wins. And now the number 7 seed, the Wisconsin Badgers, come into the tournament after finishing 2nd in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Oregon Ducks, who were 5th in their conference, finishing at 19-12. Texas enters the field as the number 2 seed from the Big 12. This will be their 26th appearance all-time in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Chattanooga Mocs, finished the season with 16 wins.
The Texas Longhorns are going to provide serious matchup problems to any team that doesn't have depth and defensive ability at both guard spots. They have outstanding backcourt play at both ends of the court. It's the main reason they've made it this far, and they're going to have to maintain that form if they want to do some damage in this tournament.
Looking into the future a little bit, this bracket looks poised for a titanic matchup in the regional final. If the top 2 seeds can take care of business in the first 3 rounds, we have the possibility of a classic Elite 8 meeting. Clark, give us your take on the tournament's top 16 seeds.
Maybe I haven't agreed with the selection committee every year, but I think they did a great job this time. The top 16 looked just about right to me. Kansas is going to be an extremely difficult matchup for any and all of their opponents. I say all of their opponents because I think they'll have a lot of them. They're going a long way in this tournament.
Now, let's bring the conference picture into focus. The Pac-10 gets 7 teams. The ACC with 7 out of the Big East. The A-10 gets 5 teams.
What a down year for the non-power conferences. We're used to seeing at least one of those conferences compete on the level of the power conferences, but not this year.
It's too bad we didn't see more small conference schools in the tournament. None of those conferences got more than 1 team in the tourney, and I don't expect any David and Goliath stories out of the teams that did get in.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in the Mountain West Conference. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on a few of the nation's elite teams coming out of there, but this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
Here's the list of the teams that were on the bubble heading into Selection Sunday. So, partner, which of those invitees should be sending the selection committee a thank you card?
Ohio State
closed out its season in top form and is very confident heading into the tournament. If they can sustain this top level of play, expect them to do some real damage.
While those teams are celebrating getting into the tournament, let's take a look at the other teams who are on the short end of the stick.
Sam Houston State had a good shot in that large bid, or so I thought. But the bottom line this year was the bubble was too crowded with major conference teams, and they got stuck on the outside.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams and matchups, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, let's throw the ball up right now. I can't wait to get started. I hope this is an NCAA tournament that gives a lot of those special moments that stay with us for years to come.
For my partner Clark Kellogg and for all of us here in the 2K Sports Studios, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for joining us on the NCAA Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy all the excitement of the NCAA tournament.